So guys, this is the scalar switcher I was telling you about. It's a big analog way device. Techie stuff. The way it works is we've got loads of different digital inputs and loads of outputs. And inside the program and the hardware, what we can do is scale things, crop them, stretch them, position them, warp them, do basically anything with it, then spit it back out again. So, see this is the output. Imagine that being the screen in the shop window. And then what we can do is if Tim just runs a different scenario, okay, what that is called a PIP. PIP stands for picture in picture. What that's doing is grabbing one of the inputs, which is actually a MacBook just there, and he's sticking it into that position of the screen. He could move it, or he could make it bigger, or he could warp it. Now we'll go to another scene or scenario. That's another input from another input device. You'll notice that's wedge shaped, so he's kind of wedged that in. You've got another scene there, Tim? Any other ones you can show him?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, so you get the idea that basically any input can go to anywhere on the screen and we can create a series of different scenarios. So for example, one might just be playing one big video file on the screen like you normally see. The next scenario then could bring up like maybe a live feed that's coming from some streaming device. Another one could have that as well as some branding as well as like a time lapse of the build down here, and we can create as many different scenarios as you want. This device, how many inputs has it got, Tim?
12 inputs.
12 inputs, loads of outputs, so there's a lot more headroom than what we're going to need. Now, in terms of the social media side of things, we can quite simply have a laptop that's using either the, is it Social Wall Pro, Dave?
Social Wall Pro is like,
Social Wall Pro, and that can be doing a stream of all the Twitter content coming up, and that can be one of the inputs, which we can then position wherever we want and crop off the edges if we want. Or it could be as simple as we're actually scraping photos off the Topshop Facebook page, dropping them into a folder and just doing a rolling slideshow. We could also have just straight PowerPoint presentations. We can also drop in like just JPEG files of like logos or other messaging. The other thing you can do as well is alpha channeling, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yep. So what you can do is, if you imagine how subtitles are done on TV, you can have text that sits in front of the background. So if you want to have, for example, the hashtag appear, which maybe might change day to day, that can be done in, say, PowerPoint, and that sits in front of the video file, and that's separate from the video content. Now what that means is you don't have to do all this stuff in post-production and give us the files. We can do this stuff on site. In terms of actually making this work, we need to be quite clear with each other on what the scene scenarios of layout are and what the inputs are, because that'll determine what system we've got. And we also need to pre-program the kind of architecture and signal routing in advance, because it can take a while if it gets kind of complicated. So I hope that helps. This is the bad boy you need for that. And if none of that works or it's too expensive, I mean, when I say it doesn't work, what I mean is it might be too expensive. We can just go simple, and you guys just give us a video file, we scale it, hit play, goes on the screen, which is exactly what happened last year. So hopefully that helps.